Alright, this week I've gotten the key response system implemented, and I've gotten the scene registration all put together. First, the key responder. So this is a game virtual game object extension. The user can call for a registry of a pressed or released and pass the correct key. That then goes through the system of checks and balances here that basically ensure that there's no double registration and that the object is already registered to the scene before it tries to do that sort of thing. I also have an enum key input type here that keeps track of whether a single key is registered for pressed, released, or both. That is a totally internal system. The user never sees that one, but I keep a map here to avoid double registration of keys, so it needs to have only one entry per key, so thus the key input type. So I've tested this out pretty rigorously. Here we have, let's skip to this one, the cottage. When the space key is pressed, will stop updating. When it is released, will resume updating. The frigate, the wireframe frigate over here, when the space key is pressed, it'll push out a debug message. When the T key is pressed, the space key will get deregistered. When the T key is pressed again for the second time, it'll re-register the space key. So we'll be able to see dynamic registration, deregistration. So let's go ahead and give that a test here. We can go ahead and you see the output window down here. It's got some alarms. I probably should get those out of here. But spacebar, space pressed on the frigate, and the cottage is not updating until I release the spacebar. So I can press the spacebar a bunch in the frigate, and then I can go ahead and press the T key and keep pressing the spacebar a bunch, and it doesn't come up with anything. Press the T key, spacebar happens again. Alright, next up is the scene registration, deregistration. So for that, I have it kind of distributed between the scene and the game object system. Adding objects to the scene is all done through the scene file. Game objects don't have any handle on which scene they're going to be put in. So that's all the scene's job. The game objects, if I pull up the .h file, the game object deals with when it wants to exit the scene and provides the callback methods for what happens when it enters and exits the scene. So on enter, obviously register for services. On exit, deregister from services, and send to factory. So as you can see here, we've got the frigate wireframe set up for on scene enter. We've got some stuff happening. Everything's getting registered up. On exit, everything deregisters, and in particular update and draw deregister, so that when we press the D key, the wireframe frigate should just disappear off the screen. And indeed, when that happens, pachoo, away it goes with the frigate wireframe exit debug message there. This one's also been pretty well tested, so if I give this an uncomment here, alarm 0 and alarm 1 will be going off both in half a second from the beginning of the game. Both alarm 0 and 1 print out their alarm message and mark for scene exit. So if I run that one, you should see in the output window both alarms went off, but only one exit was triggered. Other basic safeguards and things, no double registry of key presses. That'll throw up a big ol' assert. Key already registered for pressed, can't do that. You can't do any registering in the outside of the scene enter method. Well, you can do it outside the scene enter method, you just can't do it until you have hit the scene enter method. You have to be registered to the scene first, obvious by this message here. We go ahead and try and do double update registers. I don't think I've showed you that one yet, but I've fixed that so that, bam, what? That's wrong. Alright, that's the wrong message, but it still doesn't let you update twice. Oh, I left this uncommented. That's what the issue was. So, bam, there we go. Double update register. Don't do that. Alright, I think that about wraps it up for this sprint. I haven't gotten the class diagram put together for this one yet because it was so much stuff and I would like to sleep. So I'll get that done tomorrow morning and probably have that up right away before we start the next sprint.